insane. It's so, like, this platform is bigger than I thought. Winston and I have made it out to LA, and tomorrow we have a shoot with drone dudes. And before we get going, obviously I need to learn a whole lot of different equipment, and it's the stuff that they want to be using. But we're gonna get a tour of the shop, and it's freaking amazing. Like, we just started walking around, we told them, stop, don't tell me anymore. We need to do this on camera, otherwise, like, it's freaking sick. So let's go inside, take a peek at all the cool stuff that we've got. And oh my gosh. And to give us the tour today, we've got Jake from Drone Dudes. We're super excited to be here.
How's it going?
What's Drone Dudes? What do you guys do?
We're an aerial cinematography production company. We've been in LA here since 2010, which is a really long time if you know anything about drones.
Yeah.
Handle all kinds of aircraft, big and small, feature films, TV shows, commercials, music videos, you name it, we can fly it. Seen us go from a small company in a garage about the size of our front office to what you're about to see now. So
Nice. Well, let's see it. What do we got in here?
This is it.
Holy crap.
This is our hangar. We're here at the Van Nuys Airport, of all places, in the prop park, because we have more propellers than just about anybody else here. Well, that's what we told the airport manager, and they laughed, so they let us in.
I see there's an Alta X that's already taken off.
Don't worry, it'll come to you.
Oh, snap.
It is definitely, without a doubt, the best heavy lift cinema drone we've ever worked with. A lot of people had a lot of questions about it being a quad in terms of its redundancy and reliability, but
I know I did.
in our experience, it's been terrific, always. For us, it's the versatility. It allows us to do whatever task we need to do, whether it's flying a big cinema camera package or flying a big giant light to light a scene, whether we have to turn it into a delivery drone. We've done all kinds of different things with it, and whatever task we've thrown at it, it's managed to pull it off with no issues ever. Right now it's all cleaned off, but normally when we're prepping a shoot, these tables get littered with all the gear and equipment that is being, meticulously checked and prepared, made ready for whatever production we're going on. And it's nice to be able to work on the drone at eye level without having it take up any space on the table,
right?
And being able to lift it up and get it away whenever you need to, and it's really easy to just pop it off right here.
Well, and then you can also bring in the gimbal, get it mounted.
Exactly.
So you guys do a ton of different kinds of R&D stuff to like make the drones work. You've got the truck that's like freaking bolted together. Like, it's awesome.
Sure.
What's going on this corner? This is all different
well, anybody who knows anything
stuff.
about drones knows that you're constantly doing customization and creating your own parts and things that work with whatever system you're using. So over here we have a whole bunch of 3D printers. I call this the printer farm, but it's really the R&D corner. Tyler here, who works with us as an operator, he also runs his own 3D printing company, making pieces for assistant camera carts.
Okay.
And he helps us with all kinds of 3D printing needs. This is actually a mount. If you recognize that, anybody who's seen DJI goggles knows that those will fit right on the front of that, and we'll just strap it to the back. And we have a baby pin mount, so you can put that right on a stand and no longer have to kind of jerry-rig your goggle mount. Moving on this way, we have all of our different kinds of tools, all different kinds of workbenches with whatever full-size toolkit. We're all about organization here. I think that organization on set is really one of the most major keys to success. It really becomes something that when you're unorganized, people notice. And it's very easy to spot when somebody doesn't have cables ready, or their cart is a mess, or their truck is a mess. People pick up on these kinds of things, and we put a lot of effort into making sure that when people look at us, that's not the perception that they're given.
So I think the crown jewel of your organizational practice for being prepared on set it's got to be the truck, right?
I would say so, yeah. This truck really was born out of creativity about a different way of operating with a drone. People so traditionally have been working off a camera cart where they pop the drone out on the ground and they have their cart with the monitor and the control surface or whatever it may be, and they work off of that unit. And we were on a movie about 2 years ago where we kept having to move from different location to different location every 10 or 15 minutes, because wherever we would set up, even when we weren't shooting, all of a sudden they would move the camera to a different part of the set and we were in the shot in the background. So we just, for whatever reason, we had to move every like 10 or 15 minutes.
Right.
We had this idea where we said, what if we just had a giant cart on wheels that could go anywhere and carry everything?
Wait, that's a car.
So we got a giant truck. It's got plenty of power to haul all the equipment, all the extra weight, and the trailer.
I'm 6'3". Like that's how just big this truck.
And what we did was we decided that we wanted a way to be able to work from the truck without ever having to set foot on the ground, especially with the drone. Because if you've ever worked with any of those big drones, you know that it can be scary when the big one spins up, and if you've never seen it before, it can be a little bit frightening. So one thing that we did was we decided to keep everything elevated, raised up, so that whenever we're working with a client, everybody can stay safe on the ground, and only the flight crew and the people that are qualified to interact with the drone go up top on the roof. Like NERD.
It's pretty great up here. I mean, nobody wants me to interact with the client or be anywhere near their client, so they just put me up on the roof. What else is going on in here?
So right now what you're looking at up here is an antenna array, and right now we have the master wheels antenna set up and the patch antenna for the Teradek system on the Alexa camera set up. And basically we put on this 5-pin antenna array whatever we may need for whatever shoot we're doing. So whatever equipment we're using, we'll mount the external receivers here, we'll mount the Teradek antenna here, and this can swivel so that whichever way the drone goes, you can point it at the camera for best reception. These are the kinds of things that help us do the job from the truck, because the system that this is attached to is actually mounted inside in the back seat. So where traditionally the operator might have to be outside to get the best signal range, now they can sit inside in
How does the signal get from outside here into the car?
Everything is running through these distribution boxes here in the back. So whether it's video signal or the other cables, everything has a way to safely run from the exterior to the interior of the truck and stay weather protected and sealed out here.
So it goes all the way from antenna down through into these ports, that's just the window of
it goes inside into the truck and then gets distributed by different things inside and then gets spit back out to these ports.
I feel like I've been stepping up on this thing, but it doesn't look like it's just a stepping stool. What's going on in here?
No, it is a step, but it's also a little bit more.
Oh my goodness.
This is our charging box, and inside here we have battery charging for all of our major systems.
Oh, there's a big battery in
So in here is it's a Lion Energy battery bank, and it's backup, and this, when it's fully charged, can run for about 14 hours, just non-stop, powering the entire truck, all the monitors and everything inside.
So there's a giant battery here, but you also can jack in a Jenny to this whole thing.
Correct. So they actually serve different purposes, but basically this battery is powering all the electronics on the truck. So all the Wi-Fi bits, the antennas, everything that can get power on the inside, monitors, master wheels, everything comes from this one power unit and it's backup. Everything that has to do with charging comes from a different power unit, which plugs into our big Honda 3500 watt generator.
So you just have a small little battery that you want to charge?
Yeah, I mean, something small like this 16,000 milliamp hour 12S battery. But the nice thing about this box is that we have custom cutouts here so that we can actually drop the batteries into place and charge them on the go.
That is so
when
satisfying.
we have to move around on set. And what we love about these is that we can charge while we're on the move.
Right, so because this is ventilated right here, big old fan on the side, we can just pop this closed and then it's a lipo safe thing and they can just be driving to the next spot.
If you've ever worked with an Inspire 2 or any TV50s, you'll notice that this is a DJI quick charger. It's incredible. And we use these same batteries not only for the Inspire 2, but to power all of our gimbals. So whether it's the Ronin or the Movi Pro, we power them both off of these batteries. So these run the entire gimbal, the camera, everything from the drone down is being run by these batteries.
Is it part of your organizational technique, kind of like to have everything running off of the same battery so that you just always have the same stuff ready to go?
Yeah, and we have a surplus of TV50s that get retired from Inspire use after a certain time, and they just become camera batteries.
They're your low draw camera and gimbal batteries.
What I like about these TV50s is that they're really easy to transport. You can fit a lot of them in a little case. You can fit a lot of them in here. Even we line this side, and we even line these guys down here sometimes with TV50s. It makes it really easy to reach right in here, grab what you need, and put it right on the drone. Yeah. You never have to worry about going back to your truck. You never have to worry about setting up charging somewhere else. It's all right here in front of you. You can manage it from, where you're going to be hanging out for your entire shoot.
Well, you're never going back to your truck. You just never leave your truck.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there a bathroom in here somewhere?
Yeah, the idea is, it pulls the trailer to set. The trailer has all the cases that contain everything. Yep. And then once we get there, we build it all onto here, and then we're on the truck for the rest of the day. We never have to go back to our home base. We never have to go back for any supplies or anything like that because everything is built on here. Since the end of last year, we've offered up the opportunity for any pilots or directors or DPs, producers, anybody that works with us to sign our Hall of Fame charge box. So we've got some big names up here. Jeff Cronin with ASC, he shot Fight Club.
Okay, let's get rid of this and head upstairs. What is going on up here?
This is kind of the party piece of the truck, the top deck.
The dance floor?
Everybody loves the dance floor. So when we started out, we originally made it out of wood, and the problem with wood is that it's not as strong as diamond plate.
Right.
But over time, we decided that diamond plate was the most secure material because when you have $150,000 worth of drone up here, and also you don't want everything to be falling through the roof and coming down on top of your pickup truck. Yeah. It's solid enough that you can very confidently be up here, walking around.
I don't know about me, but when you're out in the desert or something like that, doesn't it get hot, shiny? Like, how do you?
It used to. When it was original diamond plate, it was reflective, and it was a real problem because especially the second that you try to look that way out into the sun, it would just blind you. So what we did was we actually painted it this special color, which is both heat resistant and non-reflective. It's not hot to the touch, even on a 100-degree day.
Really?
And it doesn't get reflected when you're trying to look off the front of the truck when you're flying.
While we're up here, you want to show us what's going on this back wall here?
Oh yeah. This is the Great Wall of Gear. Part of being a company that does aerials and works with this much different variety of equipment is keeping track of all of it.
It's kind of beautiful.
Like I said, organization is really key to everything that we do here. Everything has a home. Everything has a dedicated place where it lives. Everything, when something is gone, it's really easy to know what's checked out on a job, who's got what. We keep logs with everything that goes out so that we can make sure that everything that goes out comes back in. Everything here is kind of organized by section. So we have like DJI drones, heavy lift drones. We try our best to separate everything. That way, when we prep a job, it's really easy to say, I know that this piece of gear goes with this, kind of whole
collection.
Picture. Yeah. So when I'm taking out the Alta, I remember to prep the Alta radios and the headsets and all the extra things that go with the Alta. Or when I'm doing the Inspire, I remember to grab both cases of batteries because they're both sitting right next to each other in the right place. So, like I said before, organization really is key, and we try to apply that mantra to everything in here, whether it's just the wall that's holding the cases or the truck that we take out to do the job.
Yeah. Why don't we jump down off the top and take a look at the rest of the truck?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so we're gonna walk around to the front of the truck. You have the camera suspended off of the landing platform. Why? This is insane.
This right here is called a Flow Cine black arm. What it is basically a single axis stabilization arm that irons out bumps for the camera system. So what we like to do...
fabricate some bumps here.
Yeah. A couple of bumps. Irons them out just fine. What we like to do with this thing is it has a couple of different purposes. Number one, it's used for kind of a low budget car-to-car filming solution. So we can throw the camera on this and drive around and shoot, cars on the ground from the truck. But you can
move this up and down so you can get lower to the ground.
Exactly.
Because if you're shooting a sports car, you're already over top of it.
Exactly. It's it's not something that replaces a Russian arm or a traditional kind of pursuit arm kind of vehicle.
It's something you can toss in.
Exactly. It's a toss in. The main thing for it, though, is that when
$100,000 toss-in.
Yeah. The main thing is that when we drive around set, sometimes it's a pain to find a spot where this camera can safely transport inside the truck, because when we have it on the drone, it's got the big landing legs on the front, and it takes up a pretty big footprint. So the purpose of the black arm is that we can just hook the camera onto this, and it can safely dampen the load while we're driving around from point to point on set. It gives us time to work on the gimbal, because the gimbal can remain on and active while we're driving around. So it gives me time to kind of iron out any issues that I might be having while I'm on the set. It's a toad in the hole from Free Fly. We love Free Fly. And you literally just comes off like that.
And then that literally just clips into the drone.
Clips right into the bottom of the drone. And then when you want to put it back, and safety latch, and you're done. And that's the same on this and on the drone. It's the exact same attachment. It's called a toad in the hole. And the toad in the hole is great because it's a pretty robust, safe, quick release method.
I see that obviously there's a gimbal, and then there's fizz control. So for those that maybe don't know what that is, it's focus, iris, zoom. And I guess we just have focus, iris. And from the truck, there's controls to be able to change all of those things, whether that's the gimbal, the focus, the iris.
This is, its common name is a fizz, or a hand unit. Yep. This one is the Teradek RT Motion. Got a couple different channels, focus, iris, and zoom, but you can spin the wheel for the focus motor. And this is controlling, focus, obviously.
What?
And the iris motor, of course.
It's got a little slider for the iris. That's cool.
Yeah, which is a slider. And we mark it down so that you can tell what stop you're at. So I'm at a T8 here, and I'm at a T8 here.
Well, how do we control the gimbal then? We've seen how to control the fizz system. We've seen how to control the truck. And now all that's left is to be able to turn this thing around. How does that work?
Well, that depends on which way you want to do it. You got options.
This is overwhelming. Oh yes. I would get so motion sick if we were trying to move the car around.
We do this while we're driving down the road all the time. You don't have to get used to it. You'd be surprised because when you're watching in the camera, you kind of get tunnel vision a little bit as to what you're doing. Anyway, so what's in front of you here, these are called the DJI Master Wheels. It's a DJI product of all things. And basically they're force-sensitive wheels that control pan, tilt, and roll on the camera. You have all kinds of different adjustments here in terms of your speed and the smoothness. And you can see on the screen right there next to you that this is controlling all the different axes of movement. So anyway, this is connected to the receiver that was back up on the Trident, up on the roof. So that's what allows you to stay in here and still remain fully in control with the best signal range possible.
You say control, but this is embarrassing. Like I can definitely, like if I just had to think about one axis for the most part, that'd be okay. But like as soon as I'm trying to add in the height, this is like system? Doing like this thing like where you try to like peg your
and I mean we'll fly down the road 60 miles an hour with Andrew in the back flying the Alta,
right,
and I'm sitting here with the director next to me calling the shot, saying swoop to the right and do this and do that, and it's a pretty cool experience when it's all running and happening. There's really not a lot like it in the film industry besides maybe like a camera pursuit car, like an arm car. I can record a shot right here, right, say I do a little move, and then I can play it back at the touch of a button.
And this is at final resolution.
Correct. And so now we're watching back the shot that we just did, so we can quickly review and make any notes or adjustments that we need to make to the shot, figure out what we liked, what we didn't like, and how to make it better.
That's pretty sick. For another video, we're gonna go ahead and actually try to teach me how to use the wheel, see what kind of shots we can get, and then hopefully graduate to some bigger and bigger drones doing heavy lift and cine and all this stuff kind of in one. Check back for the other video on that.
There's too much truck to add anything more.
So you have this awesome setup in the truck, but like how do you get all of your shit to set? Like it's not gonna fit in there with all of the wheels and stuff.
Even with the 8-foot bed, it's not quite big enough for all of that.
I mean, you can just start strapping stuff to the landing.
No, what we have we have this 10-foot box trailer. And it's great because the truck is already so enormous that we can luckily fit all the extra gack that we need into this small footprint. Which any bigger than this and this whole thing would be, it's 40 feet right now from end to end.
Huge.
It's great because on the inside what we've actually done, it's a bit of a mess right now, so you'll have to excuse me, but what we've done is actually taken the same shelving that we have over here. You'll notice it's the exact same rack. So we literally just took an extra one of those racks and built it in here and gave ourselves room to fit all the kinds of camera equipment that we need. Up on the wall, we strap our camera cart, our tent, all the creature comforts that you need to kind of keep yourself made in the shade when you're on set.
Crafties in here.
In here we have another one of the same batteries that we have inside the truck, and this does all the power for the trailer, whether we have to charge things in here, whether we have to run the lights. whatever it may be, this battery has it covered for way more time than we would ever need, and gives us the flexibility to turn the trailer into another, vehicle for us should we need it. Like I said before, we generally don't ever leave anything in here to the point where we would have to come back and forth between the truck. But sometimes it gives us an advantage if we have to set up a computer to download footage or things like that. We can do that in here if we need to.
I don't have a hangar, so.
You know what you need?
A hangar.
No, you need a van like ours.
Okay.
This is what you need because this is your workstation away from home.
Yeah.
Andrew and I have both slept in this van before on separate occasions.
It looks like I should be at a speakeasy or something right
It
now.
was originally made for Burning Man and then
Okay.
converted into a drone van.
I see.
But it kind of serves both purposes now. Like I said, more than enough space to do everything you need to do. There's a power setup underneath that bottom bench, so you can stab in with a generator into the side of the van and give yourself power for charging or soldering or whatever kind of work you need to do in here. You have all the space. And up here actually is another toad-in-the-hole mount.
Oh yeah, look
so
at
you can
that.
actually clip the whole gimbal right into here. So when we take this van out on those kinds of jobs, sometimes I'll do my camera builds right here. I'll clip the gimbal right up and just piece it all together right here, pull it off the roof, and I'm ready to go.
When does the van get a landing pad? That's a lot of cool big stuff, but like, we're here for the FPV. What's the FPV situation at Drone Dudes?
I'm glad you asked. We have just about every option you could ask for. Starting over here with the granddaddy of all of them. This is the Catalyst Machine Works Money Shot Mini.
Yeah, buddy.
It's kind of the new industry standard in terms of cine lifters. There are a lot of really great options out there. The Sicario is great.
Yep.
I've seen some other options that are really, really great builds, but for us, this was the one that we ultimately decided to go with, and it's treated us really well so far.
Yeah, this thing's amazing.
It blows my mind every time how something this big can truly feel like a 5-inch quad.
Like, these batteries are absolutely massive. Like, I mean, for FPV. And then the Komodo itself, well, yes, relatively speaking, a small camera, still is like 1,500 grams. It's heavy. Pretty cool FPV drone there. We've got another FPV drone right here.
More or less, yeah. A double FPV drone, actually.
Look right there. So there's, right, because there's an FPV camera right there, an FPV camera right there, and then one, pleb camera. I mean, so you have this rigged up with the DJI digital FPV system.
I tore this entire drone apart and put a little BEC on the inside that's stepping down to 9-volt power from the 6-cell power that comes in from the drone.
Oh, so you don't even have a separate battery.
So there's no separate battery, especially with something like this. You want everything to be clean and tight because, like I said, this camera rotates 360.
Yeah.
So on a wide lens like this 16 millimeter, you don't want to have a big battery that's here protruding out from the system. Having this thing down here is already bad enough.
Right.
But luckily, the setup as it is, you can't see the antennas or the air unit. What we've done is just taken this and put it on this.
This place is insane, dude. I just want to sit here and just take it all in. Like, I don't want to leave. Do we have to go do a shoot later?
We do, but then we got to come back to drop everything off. So we'll be back. Don't worry.
Well, thank you so much for giving us the tour of the Drone Dudes hangar. What are you guys calling it?
We do call it the hangar.
The hangar,
yeah. Thanks for coming. I'm sure it won't be the last time we see you here.
Dude, I'm so stoked. I just want to play with everything now.
Yeah, there's lots to play with, and we're definitely going to be expanding and doing a lot more in here. We came into this space with the intention of, now we have this incredible space. We want to really be doing more on, the media sphere, whether it's with YouTube or with Instagram or whatever it may be. We want to really bring the knowledge that we have at Drone Dudes to the rest of the world and to the rest of everybody else. And that's why we were so excited to partner up with you and get to show everybody on your channel what we have going on here, because there's so many people that only see one side of the drone industry, whether it's the cinema side or the FPV side, and they don't really cross over. And I think what's cool about what we're doing here is we're really trying to bridge the gap on both sides, whether it's bringing FPV people up to speed with heavy lift stuff, bringing heavy lift people up to speed with the FPV world, cinema people into the FPV world and showing them the amazing stuff that FPV can do. I think that is really what is so cool that's going on here right now, and something that we're trying to strive so much for in the future.
Yeah. And I mean, we're so grateful to learn more. I feel like every time I get to come into a space like this, I get inspired to think of new ways to try things, especially like on the organization side. Like, FPV is so kind of run and gun that you forget that, like, you still have to figure out ways to be professional and to carry yourself professionally. and seeing how you guys have that set up is really inspiring me to how I want to go back and do my setup. It's not going to be our last time that we're going to interact with drone dudes. Hopefully we're going to get some cool behind the scenes stuff, not just like what we're doing tomorrow with motorcyclists, but hopefully on real productions eventually. And make sure that we're continuing to tell the story of FPV, both from the hobbyist side and the professional side. And then into the wider world of drones. So thanks very much everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed this tour of Drone Dudes. If this is your first time on the channel, please consider subscribing. And if
it's definitely worth it.
And if you're a returning visitor or anything like that, you can always support the channel by using the affiliate links or Patreon or any of that stuff. So thanks very much for coming to hang out on this tour of the Drone Dudes hangar.
Yeah.
And stay flying. So we're going to come around to the front of the truck and we're going to see how the camera setup is.
Okay.